I'm April Wachtel. I am the founder of Cheeky Cocktails. We do bar quality syrups and juices for the home and bar.
And I'm John deBary, and among other things, I am the author of Saved by the Bellini, which is a cocktail book that's all about the 90s.
So we're here today to talk a little bit about the book Saved by the Bellini and our amazing, delicious Ultra Grenadine collab.
Dream collab.
Dream collab. So John, why Saved by the Bellini? Why now? Why you?
Well, my first book, which is Drink What You Want, was I thought was kind of risky personally because I came from a very
bougie,
very like kind
cocktail-y.
of serious cocktail world, and I wanted to kind of have everyone let their hair down a little bit and show people, especially people who are at home who weren't pro bartenders, that like there's a lot that you can learn and you can go very deep into the arcana of cocktails, but there's some really core kind of principles that are very easy to master. And as long as you like the drink, then that's okay.
Yes.
And I also put a lot of myself and a lot of my personal jokes and revelations about my life into the book. And I was not sure how that was going to land with people, but it seemed to land really well. Yeah. So this is just like doubling down on that. So it's like the 90s were like the formative years for me. I have so many things from the 90s that I love, like X-Men and video games and magic cards and Jurassic Park and all this stuff that I just wanted to find a way to like bring to life in some way. So using this decade as this sort of context to create drinks that were both delicious and interesting and fun to make, but were also kind of funny and silly and have these weird connections to one another and full of puns, obviously, Saved by the Bellini. So it's just like a silly cocktail book that should hopefully remind you of some nice times in the 90s, if you were alive back then, or show you something new that you didn't know, and also you can make some tasty drinks.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So if you were watching this, and if you watched the last 30 seconds, you know that we did a collab. So I'm so excited about this. We did this Ultra Grenadine syrup. It is a recipe from John's book. John, do you want to talk a little bit about the cocktail recipes that go into this and why you agreed to collab with
Of course,
Cheeky?
Well, I mean, we've been friends for like 10 years,
Yes.
so I would follow you to the end of the earth, anything. But with a lot of cocktail books, I find to be frustrating is that there's a recipe for one cocktail, and then there's like a little sub-recipe for a syrup. And sometimes it's really easy, like a simple syrup or something like that. But other times it's very elaborate. You create a lot of whatever it is, and then you look at the actual drink recipe, and it's like,
a quarter
half ounce. Yeah. And you're like, what am I supposed to do? Like 40 of this one cocktail, which sometimes you do, obviously, but like, for the most part, that's like kind of a little bit inhospitable sometimes in a book. So what I wanted to do is have most every sub recipe in the book get used across a bunch of recipes.
Right.
So like at least two, but the Ultra Grenadine, I think is the most common. I think we actually, when we were deciding which syrup to do, we were like, which is used the most in this book. And I love grenadine, just plain grenadine, and I love grenadine cocktails. I love the juiciness, like a Jack Rose, so good. And so I wanted to create, like, if you're going to make a grenadine syrup, how can you make a really fancy one that you can then, like, hang on to and use a bunch of times, either in drinks from the book, or any grenadine recipe that you're going to, you can dig up. So I wanted to do something with, like, saffron and black tea and give it a lot of depth. And then rather than just use pomegranate, it's a 50-50 split with cranberry.
Yeah.
So it's like got a lot going on.
Yeah, got a lot going on. So why don't we get to making some drinks?
Sounds good.
All right. Be right back.